Hello and welcome back to Q3 of the FIA World RX Championship, coming to you live from Barcelona for rounds 7 and 8 this weekend. Joining me is Dan Rook as well, who's come down from the commentary box, made the short walk through turn 1 up here to the pre-grid. Q2 was eventful, wasn't it? Kristoffersson very much the story there, going up onto 2 wheels, smashed into that wall and still managed to win. He's looking pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely looking very strong, isn't he, out there? But of course, some of it's to do with a little bit, we think, with the track. We were expecting the track to go quicker and quicker, but it seemed to, evidently in the later races, go a little bit slower. So it's gone kind of the other way to what we were expecting. So that did definitely play into his hands. Obviously, he lost a lot of time from that first couple of corner incidents. Maybe got a little bit lucky with Larson pulling out, dropping off as well. But yeah, super quick, isn't he? He's looking hard to beat here.
Andreas Bakkerud as well has really come through this weekend, and we saw in his Q2 reaction that he's finally feeling he's putting something together here. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, so far this season he's not had a lot of luck, has he? He's struggled a bit with the car. And well, I guess for him there, Q2 he felt it all went well. He didn't have amazing pace in Q1. But obviously he's now come on in Q2 with a good result there, and he'll be hoping to carry that forwards.
And as the temperatures creep up slightly, and we're still looking at that track evolution, what are you expecting from Q3?
It'll be interesting to see, won't it? I mean, obviously, like you say, temperatures are now creeping up. I got my t-shirt on, yeah, I think we might start to see it come in to go quicker again now that there's more rubber getting laid down on the surface.
And as a guy who used to race as well, when you've got someone as dominant as Johan Kristoffersson and indeed Mattias Ekström as well, both of whom have won so far this season, how do you go into those races thinking you're going to win or beat them?
It's a very difficult to maintain quite a positive mentality when you've got someone that's so dominant, because you're always wondering, why are they quicker than me? What can I do better? But I guess the way to do it is you try and watch everything they do, like down to the finest detail and try and focus and see what you can gain out of it. But clear head is the main thing.
And of course, last season it was very much Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen, who were right up there and always the ones to beat. They're not having that this season. They're not having it all their own way, but we're seeing glimmers of pace now, aren't we? Certainly from Timmy Hansen.
Yeah, I mean, we know that they've done a lot of changes to the car over the winter, so coming in with those new developments, trying to get them all to work together has proved quite hard for them so far. We know they've done a lot of testing in between events, so now they've come here and they are looking quicker again, so it's nice to see them back on a bit more pace.
And just a word as well on Robin Larson, because it was that very aggressive move, and I spoke to him just a minute before about what it's like to come in from the outside into that turn 1 just behind us here. Yeah, it was a pretty aggressive move from Robin, wasn't it, in that race where we saw Kristoffersson on 2 wheels?
Yeah, I mean, he was on the outside of the grid, so he kind of had to do something. But coming across like that was maybe a little bit harsh. I know it was under investigation. I'm not sure if anything's happened at the moment with it. We'll wait and see what comes of it. But yeah, quite a harsh move. Had to go for it though. He had no other option.
Dan, we're going to let you go back, take the long walk back up to the commentary box, which is just over that way. As you can see, the Super 1600s now, of course, making their debut here in Barcelona, just beginning to line up pre-grid. We will look back then. Dan and I have been talking about it, but we're now going to look back on Q2 and exactly what happened.
Q2 was fastest first, so Kristoffersson lining up with Hansen, Markland and Larson. Carnage in the first corner. Johan on 2 wheels. The World Championship leader almost rolling the polo after contact, which was then under investigation between Larson and Markland. He stalled the car on the brakes and had to fight back from way down in this one. Larson with a problem. Had he clipped the tyre barrier in a previous corner, or did the car brake on landing from the jump? Ended up in the wall either way. Meanwhile, Kristoffersson hammered in the quick laps, and when the joker laps played out, it was Johan who was at the front of the field. Checkered flag. Race 2, teammates Gronholm and Timmerjanov on the inside together. Behind them, Bakkerud making a nice move to the inside line and getting the whole shot up onto the gravel section. The Norwegian very clever in turn 1. Gronholm in a fight with Kevin Hansen behind, maybe costing each other time. Kevin managing to find a little bit more traction and bully his way past on the way up through the tarmac section. Out from the Jokers, Timmy Johan around the outside of his own teammate. End of the race, Bakkerud with a very good time. Race 3, Ekström really needing a good result, but problems with the car, a clutch issue, meaning he dropped back off the start. Bennett got a good start, the two Brits, him and Doran battling it out into turn 1. Liam Doran coming around the outside of Ekström onto the straight, but unable to keep the Swede behind. So Ekström, despite his issues at the start, doing a good job, but losing just a little bit too much time to be as high up the leaderboard as he would have hoped in the battle with Kristoffersson for the title. And on to the last race, Karai stalling on the line. Scheider around the outside, perfect racing line, unchallenged by his own teammate Mandy August. Scheider with some fantastic lap times, pushing really hard, keeping it tidy, and it was enough for 4th for him in this. Sayat looking really good with the DTM ace at the wheel. Unchallenged into turn 1, and for the rest of the race too, just a super tidy run. Timo Scheider goes 4th. Here are the standings after Q2. Johan Kristoffersson at the top of the table. Andreas Bakkerud winning Q2 sees him move up to P2. Then it's Timmy Hansen, Anton Markland in 4th. Good results for GCK with the McGann look right up there this weekend. Kevin Hansen, Timmy Johan, Gronholm, Mattias Ekström. And then Liam Doran, Timo Scheider, Robin Larsson and Enzo Eid. Oliver Bennett, Mandy August, Tamas Karai, Patrick Guillaume. A bit of work to do, but nobody's chance is over just yet. It is a beautiful day here in Barcelona at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia, for round 7 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. It is also, of course, this weekend, the first 2 rounds, double-header for them as well, for Super 1600, the European Rallycross Championship for Super 1600 cars. Indeed, 3 rounds this year, 2 of them here in Spain this weekend. This is the grid for race 1. Jeremy Lambeck, Josef Suster, Marcel Snoyers and Radoslav Rachowski. Now, I've had messages, and I've got the first one wrong already. It's Rachowski, I think. But let me know. We need people to let us know the pronunciations. We're English, and I've had messages from Latvians and Russians with help with pronunciations, and I appreciate it. Straight into the lead then. Rachowski, contact in the background, heavy contact in fact in the background. Snoyers up into P2, Rachowski out front. Look at that, look at me saying Rachowski. I hope that's correct. And I say, I really do hope you appreciate, we do try, genuinely, we do.
I said that would be the next thing, wouldn't it? You'll be all proud of your pronunciations and it'll be completely wrong.
I'm grinning like a Cheshire cat. Whether I'm right or not, I'm trying. And that's the most important thing. How are you, mate? Long old walk back from the pre-grid?
Yeah, brisk jog, really.
Out of breath?
I was, but now I'm okay.
We're okay. We are okay. First lap battle going on between Suster and Lambeck at the back here. Lambeck with the fairly heavy contact on the front right corner. Bit of handbrake action going on. Decent fight between these two. In fact, it's heavy front left damage, yeah, for Suster, and heavy front right damage for Lambeck. Suster with the worst damage when you look at it from the other side. Snoyers with a chance here to drag himself up off the bottom of the standings. Marcel Snoyers on 65 points. Rachowski, Suster and Lambeck are all within 5 points of each other.
Nice and close then.
Oh, it's close in here, mate. It's absolutely boiling in the commentary box now.
I was just thinking that maybe we'll have to open the flap up when we get a chance.
Over the windows, yeah, it's not too dusty. We might actually get away with that. We're surrounded by windows in here, well, plastic windows you can barely see through, to basically try to keep the dust out of both us and the kit that's up here, all the mad switches and boxes and things which we're not allowed to touch unless Dan Rook is fixing things live on air as he was earlier on with the timing screens. So is this going to move Rachowski up from P11? It's nice, isn't it, to know when you are in a competition like this with only the 12 cars that you will make the semis, because if you have a bad one, It's not weekend over, because 25 of these cars normally, literally one bad qualifying session and you are gone.
Yeah, it's normally extremely competitive, so to have the guarantee of a semi-final is always good, and of course you never know what happens in a semi-final. You might not have had such a good qualifying session, but you could be able to pull it through in a semi-final, get top 3.
6 laps, you know, turn 1, bit of carnage. It's pretty easy to see yourself going, isn't it, from the back row to the midfield, and once you're in the final, you're in the final. I think you know you're highly unlikely to win from the back rows. That's kind of a given. But once you're on a back row, if you're in that situation, it really is about, can I make the semis, can I make the final?
Yeah.
Trying to salvage as much as you can for the weekend. So Snoyers did Joker, and Suster and Lambeck have both got back past. I think that's a fair indicator of the difference in pace. Raczkowski goes Joker lap now.
Miles in front.
Yeah, absolutely miles in front. Right, let's have a look back. Oh, DNF, of course. So that's why Raczkowski's in this one. Raczkowski was 8th in the first one. Oh, okay. Interesting. We've got penalties appearing for World RX. We'll have a look at those in just a second. Let's get this race finished, and then we're going to have a look at the penalties on the timing screen. I don't know where Laura is, but I'm hoping she might be able to go and talk to some of the world drivers as they come in. Raczkowski's going to take this one, because they'll be heading up to the pre-grid pretty soon. So Raczkowski crosses the line ahead of Suster and Lambeck. So we'll get this out of the way first, and then we're just going to have a very quick look at the points penalties which have come in. Raczkowski takes it from Suster, Lambeck and Snoyers. 342.6 is, yeah, roughly the pace he was on in the first session, I would suggest. Raczkowski actually was quicker than that in the first session, but Johan said the track was getting slower. I think a number of the drivers and their lap times indicated that, and of course the same would be true for Super 1600, maybe magnified a bit by virtue of the lack of traction in a two-wheel drive car.
There's the incident on the first corner.
It was heavy, wasn't it?
Yeah, Lambeck climbing up the front end of Suster there. Lucky he didn't get pitched up onto 2 wheels. Contact under investigation. Is that for those 2 guys there? For the Super 1600?
It's scrolled. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. Yeah, got you. I was saying it scrolled off the screen, but we've got it.
Yeah, so Lambeck and Suster contact under investigation from that race.
Unsurprising, I think. To be fair, both of them finished, didn't they? And yeah, I mean, they might give one a couple of seconds or not, but either way, they're going to make the semis. Right. Okay. So before we get this one underway, penalties. So Supercar Q2, contact between 92 and 3, no further action. That's Anton Markland and Johan Kristoffersson. Johan was in touch via WhatsApp in between the sessions. I think he was a bit surprised that was under investigation, as was I, to be fair. But I guess if 3 cars have hit each other, you've got to investigate the 3. Now, what they've decided is that car number 4 is going to get a 10-point qualifying penalty, and that's Robin Larson. So they've decided that Larson cutting across like that caused the incident, and they're taking 10 qualifying points away. Super 1600 continues, race 2. Birmingham, Ribeiro, remember, Belevsky and Tuominen. Right, we're getting there. We're getting there. I'll say thanks to the people who messaged in a minute. Even start, the 2 cars on the outside, Tuominen, Belevsky making a bit more room. Tuominen trying to get the cut back. Good move, tidy move, gets at least 1 place. Will it be 2? Onto the dirt, and it is. It's a great move by Rasmus Tuominen, effectively going from P4 up into P2. Really strong move, safely across the grid as well.
Had to be brave though, had to hold his ground there. I mean, there wasn't any contact, but of course, he had to make sure he's gone Joker from P2. So he's gone Joker lap from P2.
Strong.
Yeah, it's a bold move.
He's bold, he's confident. Ribeiro losing a place then to Belevsky. Belevsky slotting past. Birmingham Where's Bakkerud? P3. So Bakkerud was second and then fifth. So Bakkerud with not such a good session in Q2. Was actually going to be driving an Alfa Mito this year, but switched to the Volland Racing Audi. Not sure why. Of course, a lot of announcements were made, Dan, weren't they, back in January, February, March on drivers and cars and teams, and we all know what happened.
Yeah, we forgot is what happened.
The year went badly wrong. Badly wrong, and 6 months later, these guys, 7 months later, they're finally out on track, but it is good to have them here. It's important as well, isn't it, for the support categories to survive?
Of course, yeah, you need that ladder of progression to go through and for any young driver to come up through and make their name for themselves. And you need these classes that run alongside the World RX as well, so that teams can, teams do watch. So the teams will be watching these drivers, seeing who's quick.
I'll be honest, I would like to see an even cheaper class. Cheaper than RX2, RX2E, Super 1600. I'd like to see a one-make series which operates at this kind of level, where maybe the prize is then a drive in Super 1600.
Yeah.
So something like the RX Academy, but at this level. So only maybe 4 rounds during the season. You have to put them at rounds which are not packed with Euro classes already, but something which is a bit more affordable for your everyman. You know, that these cars are still a lot of money per weekend, as we both know from previously competing at various levels. Motorsport's never cheap, but if you can make it a little bit cheaper, I think then you really do have a ladder.
More access.
Yeah.
And it's like with the European Rally Championship, like when you win your class, you get prize money which you have to put towards a drive in the next class up. Things like that really encourage people to make the steps.
Bakkerud still leads from Bolewski to Tuominen and Ribeiro. Ribeiro was advised to me by our Portuguese sound man. So this is what I've had come in. So it's Raczkowski. That's coming from Extra Bass. Now Extra Bass, that's not his real name. He's a DJ from Latvia. I know Extra Bass. I've known him since I went Lausada racing in Latvia in 2015 with Reinis Nitish. Into the lead, Rasmus Tuominen. Can he hold on to it? Bakkerud going to go wide. Tuominen on the defensive line on the inside. This is a brilliant drive from a man who's come from exactly the kind of championship we were just talking about, RX Academy, a single-make championship which has seen him step up into Super 1600 and get in front of Bakkerud, one of Super 1600's front runners. Going to smash the time, I think. A little bit, but oh no, runs a little bit wide in the last corner, just holds on. 2.5 seconds faster, Tuominen. Now, what's that time? 3:42.6. The times have varied so much today. I said to Johan, I said, what's the difference with the track changing? Tuominen wins from Bakkerud, Bolewski and Ribeiro. And he said, I'll tell you later, as in when today's finished. So yeah, Extra Bass, thank you, mate, for sending through Raczkowski. That was, and he also sent me through a couple of Russian descriptions, which I'm going to try in the next one. Off the line. Watch Tuominen on the outside here. Goes out really wide, anchors up early, carries the speed through the apex, straight up into P2. But then, as you said, Dan, the bold part was immediately jokering from a strong position. Yeah,
and behind Bakkerud as well, someone who is quick in this class. Well, obviously he had the pace over him because he's gone out and beaten him, but he obviously had the team and him had a lot of confidence that he would have that pace to be able to come back out in front.
Yeah, fantastic drive, really good. Tiny mistake in the last corner, your heart's in your mouth then, isn't it? You don't want all the good work undone. Okay, yeah, final race. So now we get to try out some more pronunciations. See how this goes. So on the inside, Gergely Marton, then it's Artur Igorov. Then we have Marat Kunaizev and Jan Cherny on the outside. I'm trying. Elena Marasheva, thank you very much. Voice messages coming in. Elena works on Timmer's PR team, and Timmer's Yanov is a name I got wrong famously for 8 rounds in 2013. So yeah, I'm trying. We are trying. Igorov is the one which actually came through from both my friends. So yeah, send us voice messages. You know, get on Instagram, find a way, send us a message. We will do our best always. Can't promise it when I'm excited in turn 1, but we will try. Thumbs up, here we go. Set the revs where you think you're going to find the traction. Clutch up and then down to turn one. You've got to try and kill that wheel spin. You can hear how long they hold on to the gear for on that run down. Martin up the inside, coming round. So Gurgly Martin with the whole shot. A little bit of contact in the background. Oh, sideways. Černý getting pushed out wide. Rode up the back a moment ago. Kniazev in the background in P4 was so quick in the last session. Third fastest in Q2 after a really early joker. Decides this time to stay in. So it's Martin and Kniazev on the standard lap. Igorov and Černý on the joker.
Interestingly, Černý going for the joker lap there. He was already in behind Igorov, so he may as well have, you know, not followed unless he's already committed before he's got to the point where he's at no return. So going for the joke like there. Did you watch him off the start? So he was P4, went for the wide cut back, managed to get up to, well, fighting for second on the run in, and then he would have pushed him wide. But again, an example of why the outside isn't always necessarily the worst place.
Exactly. It doesn't maybe work so well. I don't know though, you could still from P2 on the grid. Depends, doesn't it? If the pole man just backs the whole pack up, I think that's the thing, is when you know you've only got the man in P2 outside you on when we're talking about a 6-car grid, and you're going to see the semi-finals for these guys directly after Q3 for World. So we're doing Q3 Super 1600, then we've got Q3 World coming up literally after this race. Final qualifying session, see who gets the TQ here. And then we head on to Super 1600 semi-finals. Their final will be in the live TV show later on today. Igorov has made short work of catching up to Kniazev.
Lap times are there or thereabouts for the top guys, as you'd expect.
Martin with 2.3, that's going to be close, isn't it? Sorry, that's to Kniazev, so he's got 3.5. What do we think it was in Super 16? About 3?
Not too sure, because it's a bit different with the traction, isn't it? Because of the...
I definitely think the run down the back straight with the supercars, because it's uphill, you just nail it. You know, you've got 600 horsepower, you're going to manage to take the speed down the straight. With the Super 16s, I think the overlap pace is a lot different from the Joker.
Yeah. Oh, contact in the back. Igorov definitely got pace here, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's letting Kniazev know he's there. Igorov will be disappointed to be losing time. Early joker, 3.6 the gap, and we think, we think it's going to go Igorov's way. Or our joker predictor does. I think he's been held up enough in this very last sector that Martin's going to get it personally. He is. Martin surely around the outside. Look how much space he gave him as well. So I think Kniazev there was maybe held up just a little bit too much in that one sector.
Yeah. Igorov not quite able to get the speed down, otherwise it would have been a lot closer. He could have actually tried to defend the position. Instead he just, well, he had to give it up, didn't he?
My bad, Igorov, yes, good shout. So Martin coming around to take this last race in qualifying from Igorov. Černý and Kniazev at the back. 0.3 of a second quicker. Martin wins the session. So where was Martin? And Martin, that's going to guarantee Martin the TQ then. So Gurgly Martin wins the final qualifying race, Q3 race 3 for Super 1600 ahead of Artur Igorov, Jan Černý and Marat Kniazev. Martin at the top of the table. It's another max score following on from his win in Q2. Gurgly Martin is your top qualifier for round 1 of the 2020 FIA European Championship for Super 1600. Tidily done. Down to the first corner, look.
Yeah, Černý all the way, really wide.
Yeah. But Martin for me as well. Martin looked like he was third coming out of turn 1, but actually held off, was patient on the throttle and got the grip on the exit.
Was able to get the traction.
Yeah.
It was a late decision for Igorov to go joker then. So that's why Černý followed him in.
And that was Igorov catching up with Kniazev. And no challenge really for Gurgly Marton around the outside. And another checkered flag. Here are the standings at the end of qualifying for round 1 of the 2020 FIA European Rallycross Championship for Super 1600. With 2 session wins, Gurgly Marton is your TQ. Marius Bermingrud in third, Belevski in second. In third place, Belevski, so it's Audi 1, 2, 3. Rasmus Tuomanen gets the set promotion Twingo up into 4th place. Igorov and Knaizev are in 5th and 6th, so 5 Audis in the top 6 with Tuomanen. There's Ribeiro, Jan Černý, the Skoda Fabia and the Skoda Citigo. Rachnowski, Lambeck, Suster and Snoyers are your top 12. They'll all be in the semi-finals and they will be back on track. A big prep turnaround for them in about 25 minutes' time. Okay, have a look at this. Well, look at that, first of all. Another beautiful view. But take a look at the incident with Larsen. So Larsen on the outside has been penalised by the stewards for this. Turns in across the pack, puts Markland into Kristoffersson. Kristoffersson onto 2 wheels. And it was all a bit too carnage in turn 1. Dan, these are the new standings. Then we'll have a little chat about what we think. So he's been penalised 10 qualifying points. So it's not championship points, it's the points down the right-hand side of your screen. Kristoffersson, Bakkerud, Hansen, Markland, Kevin Hansen, Timmy, Gronholm, Ekström. Where's Larsen? Oh, Larsen's been dropped to the back of the pack. So Robin Larsen with that penalty, if I remember correctly, he was in, I think, he ended up DNFing, didn't he, having hit the barrier. So he DNF'd, you'll remember, and he was on 27 points for Q2, which would have seen him, I think he was in 10th or 11th. I think he was in 11th, if I remember correctly. He was in 11th place. But either way, Larsen has been dumped down to P16 with 1 session to go. Okay, interesting. Gonna have to do a fantastic job here, isn't he, to get back into the semis. Larsen needs an absolute stormer. Having said that, we don't have grids, so this is the thing. We don't have the grids yet. The stewards have literally made these decisions 5 minutes ago, and that's going to affect where everybody lines up.
He's going to be on the outside of the first race.
But he's going to be in with people who, in theory, he should be... Yeah, true, he was a DNF regardless of the points. Yes, so he will be outside in the first race. Just trying to think what he's got. He's got to beat everyone, hasn't he, basically? But he needs a very good result. Right, here we go. Q3 about to get underway. Robin Larsen penalised 10 qualifying points for that incident in Q2 where he had contact with Kristoffersson and Markland and then a DNF. So he starts on the outside of the first race. He's currently 16th in the standings and needs a miracle to get himself in. Karai, 4 new boots, Guillaume and Mandy August. There's the old Kristoffersson from JC Race Technique, the team that runs the ex-EKS cars. Larsen's got to get this right, and Karai is not a slow starter inside him. But that is an epic start by Larsen. Destroys them off the line. Party mode fully on that car. Up the inside, though, Karai maybe going to take the position back. Larsen's got to hold on here. Gets a bit of contact. Big handful opposite lock. Holds the car online. And that's what he needed to do, Danny. Absolutely had to whole shot this, and now he's got to smash it in terms of lap time. P16.
Yeah, he didn't need any contact on the run into turn 1 to win that start, did he? Absolutely got that one dialed.
He'd won it about a car length out of the box, hadn't he? I mean, that was epic. That was Bakkerud in South Africa business, wasn't it?
Yeah, could well have been.
Level 11, yes, party mode, definitely. It's got to be. And don't forget, you know, JC will have one eye on the fact that they're leading the team standings. They do not want, if Larsen's not in the semi-finals and both the Hansens are, that gap will close down. They want to win. JC Race Technique want to win the team standings with KYB.
I don't know if they would have gone party mode. They didn't have new tyres on the car.
Yeah, but you got to go party mode for the start, haven't you?
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Done it to win the start, and then he can make up the rest of the time on used tyres.
With a bit of Sendy.
Yeah. Right,
there it is. There it is.
47.1 his first lap.
Okay, we're not really sure on the pace though, are we, at the moment?
Previously, it's been going slower.
Very changeable. doesn't really matter session to session, does it? It only matters through a session. And for me, I would say that although the first session definitely changed during it, I'm not really convinced Q2 was that different from the first race to the last.
No, I guess not. They've been out sweeping the track in the break that we've had. I saw them out there with the machines and a leaf blower blowing all the dust off. So whether that might help the earlier runners, who knows?
Kristoffersson knows, says he'd tell us later. Larsen over the jump again into the right-hander. He's pushing hard, not gapping Karai by as much as I thought he might. 48.3, so he's gone 1.2 slower on the last lap. That's quite a significant change in lap time.
Yeah, not too sure why. I think it's all in the first sector, so all off the start pretty much. Oh, and he lost a bit in the last sector too.
Okay, well, I mean 1.2. Okay, maybe again mint start, wasn't it, on the racing line? So maybe it's not the difference so much between first and second lap as the difference between a perfect start like Scheider had, unchallenged into turn 1. 48.4, yeah. So he's within a tenth of the previous lap. Okay, so lap 1s are always showing up as quicker, and Larsen's looking pretty consistent, but the lap times are not incredible compared to earlier on today. No,
I mean, we were down in the 45, so that's roughly 3.5 seconds.
It's a lot, isn't it? It is a huge amount. And Larsen's no slouch, we know that. Look at the lines he's just laid down during the Joker lap. Such epic car control Robin Larsen's got. If you've ever seen a fully lit Joker from Larsen at Höljes or Hell in Norway, you'll know what we mean. Get it in there, get it sent. Definitely licks the stamp, Robin Larsen does.
Oh, yeah.
Final lap, Larsen into the last corner. This will be the benchmark time. Slides the car over the line. 3:24.174. No, that's surely not right, because the previous times were a lot. Okay, now I am confused. No, okay. That's because I'm looking at my Super 1600 results. Well done, Andrew. Absolutely, I said, we don't have any grids and we don't have any results yet. Here is the result from Q3 race 1. Larsen takes it from Karai, Guillaume and Mandy August. And a 3:24.1 compared to Bakkerud. Previous session was 3:18.6. So off the line, Larsen with an absolutely epic start into the first corner. Little nudge from Karai. Karai then looked like he might get alongside, gave him a tiny tap again on the way onto the loose, but Larsen held on to that. Very quick first lap thanks to that nice start line. And from then just pushing to try and get the laps done. So the lap times, and certainly the race times, are not really comparable to the previous session, but he only needs to beat 4 or 5 cars to get himself in. He will want him to be up as far up the grid as they can get Larsen to try and help KYB Team JC in the team standings. Coming around the left-hander, Larsen with the win in race 1 for Q3.
Robin, I'm sure there's a fair bit of frustration at the moment given what happened earlier on today. Just talk us through that and indeed your win just now.
Yeah, it was a rough Q2 after that. Get a 10 points penalty after I turned into the first corner. I don't know how we were supposed to drive if we can't fight for the start and fight for the points and positions. So yeah, it was rough. Then something broke in the landing in Q2, so not it's been a tough day, and now it's been really slippery, so it's hard to know how the speed was, and I didn't want to do any mistakes. So yeah, it's been a rough day. We'll see how it stands in the points.
Let's see. I hope it improves over the weekend. Thanks, Robin.
Well, there are the management side of KYB Team JC. We're having all sorts of dramas in the commentary box today. So we ran out of we wondered why we hadn't got the grids and things. So they'd been sent the printers out of paper, so we've just put some old grids back in, but we've put them in the same way up. So now we've got new grids printed over the old grids. We are thoroughly confused.
Especially because they're
Oh dear.
I don't think we're doing
Mike is live.
well,
Okay, so waiting for the cars to get down onto the line. You might be able to hear Laura in the background, not sure. Apologies. Couple of little issues for us today. We're getting there. Right. Excuse us while we shuffle paperwork in the commentary box. We have okay. Yes, that'll do, Dan. It's fine. We're gonna go find paper after this. Trying to reload paper out of the bin that's wet from a water bottle. Wow. Here we go. Q3 continues. Race 2, Anton Marklund, Niklas Gronholm, Enzo Eid and Oliver Bennett. Gronholm 7th after Q2. Marklund 4th after Q2. 11th and 12th for Eid and Bennett. They are the guys who are desperate to keep Larsen out, of course. Marklund and Gronholm close together. They've both chosen to go slightly off to the side in their relative grid slots. Good start by Bennett on the outside, squeezes Eid. Both those two drop back though. Gronholm gets the whole shot. Will he run too wide or can he hold on? I think he's going to hold on. Marklund's got a nose inside, but surely can't take it from there. Taps into Gronholm. Niklas trying to hold on, flicks the car back round the other way. Enzo Eid with a problem with the car and Bennett straight into the back of him. Ollie had nowhere to go there, to be fair, so a problem for Enzo Eid. Crossed up over the jump in the style of his dad, Niklas Gronholm. Sending it WRC Finland jump style there, wasn't he, over the crest, but leading ahead of Marklund.
Problem for Eid there, held up Bennett as well, which is really playing into the hands of Robin Larsen.
Yeah,
those two are the ones he needs to leapfrog.
In fact, yeah, Eid highly likely to drop back then, isn't he? And for Bennett, he really could have done with being with paper has arrived in the commentary box. If you missed our printer issues earlier, Gronholm leads still from Marklund, but yeah, Bennett now needs to get the best laps he can. Bennett's all crossed up on the brakes in front of the commentary position. He's got to smash in some good lap times. You can see him in the background there to try to hold on to what's he in? He's in P12, but Eid, who was in P11, is going to drop behind him. So Enzo Eid, I think Eid's still parked up at the jump, is he? No, he has come round and completed the lap. So Eid has completed the lap, but he's off the pace of Bennett. So it's a bit of a fight between them and, as we say, Robin Larsen. In terms of lap times, they're doing 47.4s on lap 1, and Larsen was a 47.1 on lap 1. But remember, that's not representative necessarily of the other laps, is it, Dan?
We're about to find out now what sort of pace Gronholm's on. He's just come to complete his first full racing lap, 47.5. That was quicker than what Robin Larsen was on. He dropped to 48.3 on his second lap. So Gronholm looking like he's got some good pace. Small mistake there from him though, having to turn the car out from the barrier there, so he didn't get sucked in.
A lot of steering inputs from Gronholm. He's going joker on this one to protect himself from Marklund. Around the outside, Anton got the McGann straight really early, but not enough to challenge Gronholm. Current best time is a 3:24.1 from Larsen in this session. Another whole lap to go, so Gronholm's obviously felt the need to go early. Everyone's really chucking it about through the gravel left-right at the top of the hill, Dan.
Yeah, I think maybe that sprung on from Liam doing it in practice, and everyone thought it looked quicker.
A lot of dust kicking up too now. The visibility is very different than it's been during the rest of the day. I think it goes to show the moisture is out of the track. Not so much dust X down this year as we've seen in previous years. The anti-dust fluid which gets put on rallycross tracks. Fair bit of watering last night. Ekström felt they'd watered it too much and that the track would have been damp enough. But to be fair to the organisers, it's now bone dry and starting to rubber in. So tricky, fine line for that. Couple of corners to go for Gronholm.
Really sideways out of that corner once again.
3:24.1, look, is the time of Larsen. Larsen needs as few people as possible to beat him. I think Gronholm's going to beat it. He does, 3:23.0. Does Marklund get it 3:24.2? No, he doesn't. So Gronholm beats him, Marklund doesn't. So Larsen needs to be as far up the table as he can if he's going to make it through Teams Championship leader, teammate to Mattias Ekström in the fight for the World Championship. Gronholm wins from Markland. Bennett trying to cling on to P12 in the standings. He's 6th so far in this session. Enzo Eid behind him. So is it Eid or Bennett who's going to miss out on a semi-final place? Might it be both of them? Great start on the inside look for Markland and Gronholm. Gronholm, though, Markland gets out of it earlier, doesn't he? Backed out of it.
Yeah, but he didn't want to end up in the barrier on the inside, really. Quite sensible, but then he gets stuck in there.
I think Markland thought he might, if he goes more cautious early on the brakes, gets the rotation done. We have seen people make a lot of passes on both the first corner hairpin and the hairpin at the bottom of the dirt hill. If you straighten the car early and find the traction, you can get it done on the exit there.
Yeah, it is possible. You just got to make sure that, you know, you've got more traction than the other guy.
Gronholm fastest at the moment, and that is still not as quick as we were going earlier today, but the Finn wins race 2.
Nicholas, well done. A solid win there in Q3. How would you rate that performance?
Hear what you said, but yeah, it's been quite difficult. It's not getting any better, so it's quite disappointing. We're not having the speed, and it's quite difficult to drive, but yeah, we're trying.
Thank you very much. Best of luck.
Interesting. So Gronholm saying not only is the speed not there, Dan, but he's finding it not easy to drive.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? I mean, maybe the track now going away from him again. He was happier earlier, wasn't he, in practice?
Unhappy with the first run, happy with the second run, but we know this isn't easy. This is elite level sport. But yeah, if it's not easy to drive and the time's not there, you don't mind a car that's a bit tricky to drive if the lap times are amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, something that's a bit knife edgy, but ultimately is quick.
Yeah, but then there's also a risk element there, isn't there? It's easy to tip over the edge and go too far.
Yeah, we've seen cars like that in the past in the World Championship. Want something nice and neutral, big window in which to send. 2 races to go in qualifying for round 7 of the World Championship. Definitely don't think we're going to get interrupted by rain this weekend. Q3, race 3. Kevin Hansen inside Mattias Ekström, Timosjanov and Liam Doran, 5th, 8th. 6th and 9th. Be great for Liam to get through to the semis. Ekström, 2 new front tyres, needs to get up onto the front rows. He'll know that if he wants to challenge Kristoffersson. Kevin Hansen, likewise on the inside, will want to be as far up as he can be. Kevin at the minute is in 5th, so only needs to go up 1 place to make it onto the front rows. But Ekström will give him a race to turn 1, that's for sure, but he doesn't. So Ekström's still got an issue with the start. Goes backwards at the start. Doran gets a little tap in the McGann, but goes sideways. He's on the paint. Oh, I thought he might get it around the outside, but he doesn't. Drops down into 4th place. So Hansen, Timosjanov, Ekström. Did they not change the clutch? Is it another issue, Dan? That's not what he needed.
Did they prioritise Robin Larsson's car after the damage into the barrier?
Maybe they had to, yeah.
You know, you don't know what happened there, but obviously the issue isn't fixed. He went backwards once again. He's now gone to the Joker lap on this lap. Good idea, really, get himself out of the train. I don't know if his car is fully working on form.
Not on the start, it's not. Yeah,
well, at least not on the start, it's definitely not, but even on the lap.
Yeah,
if it's a clutch, it could be affecting him out of the hairpins and stuff like that.
So Ekström in the title fight with Kristoffersson. He's struggling today. He has problems with the car. Timosjanov coming in hot on the brakes into the hairpin. Kevin Hansen smoking up the right rear tyre out from the commentary position window. Ekström trying to get back onto the back of this train. I wonder if the Hansens might send Kevin from the lead. The problem then is if they feel he's going to drop in behind Liam and they don't think Liam's quick enough. But Liam's times are good today. If they don't drop Kevin in, Ekström could get him. They don't. Timosjanov goes. This might be to protect his position from Ekström, but is it too late? Ekström on the inside. Timosjanov will try and carry the speed up to the end, but he's done. So Ekström's got 1 car. Look at the closing speed of the Russian in the background, but he's not quite there. So Kevin is pretty much on par with where Ekström is on the road now, in front of where Timosjanov is. So Is he going to go or not? I guess it depends if they feel he's got the pace.
They'll be looking at all of the sector times, won't they? Of course, not in the spotters tower this year, the spotters, but they'll be looking on their phones. Still got the live timing screens.
Ekström was slow out of the hairpin, Dan. You said that.
Yeah, it could be the clutch not quite able to. They could be slipping, not able to put the power through the transmission.
Kevin over the crest. Now, have the Hansen spotted that? If they have, they'll keep him out. They have. So they have obviously had a look at that, and they think that maybe Kevin will have enough pace. Liam goes Joker now, and he's going to drop onto the back of this train. Jahan able to exit the left-hander nice and tight. Kevin's gap back to Ekström was 3.1, it's now 3.3. So Kevin Hansen has exited another couple of tenths. Let's see if we can see Ekström in the hairpin at the bottom of the hill when he comes through in P2. So this is Kevin, but watch for Mattias in the background here. See if he struggles for exit speed here again. What do you think?
He lit up. I saw tyre smoke coming off the back of the car that time, so he's obviously able to put the power down there. I don't know, maybe he just didn't, maybe he was held up by Liam in front of him on the previous lap.
Gap's back down to 2.9, it was 3.1, it's gone back the other way. Ekström fighting back, he's taken a couple of tenths off Kevin Hansen. Kevin now comes around for the Joker merge. Watch for Ekström on the inside line. Those 2 tenths aren't going to be enough. Kevin's going to look for the inside, then to the outside. Nearly, if they'd gone 1 lap earlier, I think Kevin would have had that position.
Yeah, with that, Mattias made a mistake on the hairpin.
Yes, yeah.
So, you know.
Maybe not an issue with the car, maybe just a driving mistake. It bogged too much. But either way, Ekström from another bad start has pulled it out of the bag again. The 2016 World Champion crosses the line with the quickest time so far, 3:22.6. Goes 4 tenths of a second faster than Niklas Gronholm. And there are 4 drivers still to come. He's such a wily character. Brilliant operator from the back of the pack. Ekström takes it from Kevin Hansen, Timur Timosyanov and Liam Doran. Top of the table, look. Kevin and Tim are dropping in. That's a good time by Timur as well. He's ahead of Robin Larsson. So Larsson is in 5th. He's in danger of the next 4 drivers potentially beating him. There's 4 quick drivers still to come. He needs to be as far up those standings as he can to try and make it into the semi-finals. So Ekström's reaction time is instant, but the car doesn't go, does it, in the same way?
No. It'll be the clutch slipping, I'd imagine, would be the problem, wouldn't it? So not quite putting the full power through it.
I'm trying to think what the biggest break in the day is. I wonder if they think it was too much of a risk. Yeah, so they've got from this session. What's the session now? And the finals aren't until 5 o'clock local time. So have they made the decision to sacrifice a bit of performance here and give themselves an extra hour? There was an hour between these sessions. They've now got 2.5 hours to change the clutch. They don't need it unless they think, as you said, it's something else. I don't know, maybe they think we can't afford to miss out. You've got to make the semis first and then do it. Either way, brilliant job by Ekström, winning from the back of the pack.
Mattias, a great battle there with Kevin Hansen. Talk me through that one, and certainly an improvement for you on this morning.
Again, we are struggling on the start with the clutch. We have a problem we haven't found yet. After this around the track was very slippery, but I managed to do a decent run, so lost a lot of time in lap 1, but I'm sure that is now will, if someone has the clean run, it will be easy for them to beat me, but let's hope they have a great rallycrossing.
Thank you, Mattias. Good luck.
So interesting, a problem they haven't found yet with the clutch. You know, is that just sort of code speak for we haven't changed the clutch yet, or I can't believe they wouldn't. It's a fairly simple operation. Whilst I appreciate packing it and everything is a different thing.
Yeah, I mean,
unless they change the clutch plate and it is something else. Yeah, have they done the one job and it's still there? But I think he might have said that. I don't know. We'll try and find out in the break. That is
the Hansens.
Team Hansen, yeah. Eric Fahren on the left, who runs Yellow Squad with them, with Fahren his own team. They won the RX2 Championship with Henrik Krogstad earlier on this year. RX2 ran over 2 rounds in Denmark because unfortunately there wasn't time for us to get RX2 alongside the World Championship this year. With the reduced schedule, just not enough time in the day because we're later in the year, so there's less daylight. There's all sorts of factors which you maybe wouldn't think of. Personally, I'm happy to race in the dark, Dan, especially here. We've got a few floodlights. I think racing into the evening here would be fantastic. Stick the floodlights on. Let's do it. I'm pitching that for next year. Final qualifying race of round 7 of the World Rallycross Championship. Andreas Bakkerud, who won the previous session, his first session win this year. Johan Kristoffersson next to him, currently in the TQ spot. Timmy Hansen and Timo Scheider. Now Timo's down in 10th, 2 new boots on the car. He's going to be looking for a good result from the outside of the grid. I think he's pretty safe in the semis as long as he doesn't have another issue with the car. He's had one already today. Bakkerud's got the inside line from Johan, so this is a different situation for Kristoffersson. He's had some carnage in the start already today. Look at that, outright beats Bakkerud to the first corner. Scheider tried it on around the outside. Absolutely lit, that was, but didn't quite come off. It's fully smoked up, wasn't he? On the bar, on the gas, but it's Kristoffersson who gets the whole shot.
Yeah, just that car is something else, isn't it? Off the line, just car width. And well, we were talking to Mattias yesterday, weren't we? And he was like, he said you can't really win the start after having a good start. And well, I think Johan's just proven him wrong there, hasn't he?
Although I think the McGann as well is potentially not the best starter, is it? So in some ways, if he was going to pick someone to be inside him, I reckon he'd have picked a McGann.
Yeah, good shout.
Not able to load it up in quite the same way with the onboard brakes. I don't know. They've been working on it, and I have to say they're looking much better. At the minute, all 3 McGanns for GCK are inside the top 12, and that would be a fantastic result for them, and I'll be pleased if they can get them in. So we'll see. Kristoffersson's outlap is a 46.2. We know it's quick off the start, but that's a second faster than Ekström's was. So impressive. Well, that's second faster than Ekström's quickest was.
Yeah, because that wouldn't have been his quickest lap. That wouldn't have been his start lap,
yeah, because he was P4 off the start. So we know the first lap is quick. We were listening to the Polo this morning. It's just outrageous, isn't it? The revs it's got, the start procedure, it's extra trick. And that's to take nothing away from Johan. We said it a million times before, but the car is epic as well.
Yeah, it revs, doesn't it? It revs almost like a Super 1600 car.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
You kind of need to be trackside and to be able to hear it. And yeah, I mean, you could hear it this morning. Up the gears, wasn't he? Out of the hairpin, just incredible.
They just had the traction as well.
Yeah.
Just up and went.
See, Bakkerud's going with him here, and Scheider, there's not a lot in it. Having said that, of course, we don't know who's saving new tyres for what. I know Ekström wanted to save new tyres for this afternoon, but not so easy. Now he's had the issues he's had. He's had to guarantee that he was going to make it. 1.8 seconds the gap to Bakkerud. Timmy Hansen in front of Timo Scheider. Now the jokers are playing out. Look at it on the brakes. I just want a go. I just want a few laps. I'm not gonna pretend I'm gonna get anywhere near Johan, but I just want a little go in it. I think it would blow you away, the drivability of that car.
Looks very comfortable, doesn't it?
It's the movement on the brakes. You know when you feel really comfortable in a car is when you can chuck it around the brakes like that and just make it do exactly what you want it to do.
I've not had many cars I've had that feeling.
No, like it's once or twice, isn't it, where you're just like, this is a good day today. Not like when you get in a car like this and go, this is awesome. Timmy Hansen not too far behind at the merge. Closer actually than I thought he might be. Definitely the Hansens have made progress. They're flying a little bit under the radar today in that they're not winning loads of races, but that Peugeot is back towards where it needs to be. Look how close he is to Kristoffersson in the background. Have they saved some tyres? Come on, Timmy, we want to see a race this weekend. Kristoffersson going to take this one. Easily beating the time, 3:19.8. Look how close they are behind. Bakkerud with a 3:21.9. He's quicker than Ekström. Scheider 3:23. So only Scheider isn't quicker. So Kristoffersson taking the win, and with it the TQ spot here for round 7. He will be on pole in semi-final number 1. Is Larsen going to make it in that team scrap? Kristoffersson with the win from Hansen, Bakkerud and Timo Scheider. 3 of the 4 go to the top of the table. Scheider slots in 7th place. Larsen is not in the top 8 here, and I'm not sure if Larsen's going to have done enough to make it.
Johan, coming to you now. A consummate performance. You must be happy and relieved that the car is feeling good as well.
Yeah, I had a very good heat. I had a very good start, first of all, and I just tried to be staying out of trouble in turn 1, so managed to do that, and from there on the car was working very nice, so happy with that. We did some changes, we had some margin before going into P3, so hopefully we'll learn something for semi-final and final, but yeah, let's see, it's the crucial first part of the track.
Thank you, and good luck.
Off the line, look at this from Kristoffersson, just epic start in the polo. Bakkerud was quick too, and Scheider, I tell you what, Scheider had a brilliant start on the outside. If it wasn't for Johan, I don't think he'd have needed the handbrake and the sideways business. He'd have just turned it in and taken the whole shot.
Yeah, I mean, but when you're up against the polo, you've got to try something trick, haven't you?
Yeah. you got to go for something mental if you're going to see if you can get it done around the outside. But it didn't quite come off. But Scheider's having another good weekend. It's a good season for Timo, but not quite so good as it is for this man. Number 3 on the car. Is it going to be a 3rd World Championship this year? Or can Mattias Ekström make it difficult for him? Ekström is having a tricky day. Needs to recover strongly come the semi-finals and the final. We're going to find out in a moment just where he is on the grid. Here we go then. Qualifying is over for round 7. Let's see how they stand. Top of the table, TQ, 2 session wins, Johan Kristoffersson, Timmy Hansen, P2, Andreas Bakkerud in 3rd, Kevin Hansen in 4th. So a real resurgence for the Peugeots and for Bakkerud as well in the Megane. Mattias Ekström has done brilliantly to be 5th, but he will have to start on the 2nd row in the semis. Gronholm's not happy with the car, but he's still in 6th. Timozyanov looking a bit more comfortable, 7th. Markland's in with the Megane. Who's made it? Scheider is in, Doran is in, all 3 Megans are in, Bennett and Ida in. Robin Larsson has not made the semi-finals by 1 point. Larsson hasn't made the cut, and that's going to affect the team standings because KYB, Team JC, are leading that from Peugeot Hansen. That gap is definitely going to close. So, oh wow, big news. Larsson hasn't made it. Not ideal, Dan. For 1 point, I don't know. What do you think? He turned across the pack. The stewards decided it wasn't on.
I think if Johan didn't go on 2 wheels, he wouldn't have had the penalty.
Yeah, okay.
I think because it looks a bit more dramatic, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's how it went. That's how it went. Larsson's had the 10-point penalty. Of course, they gave him that because they couldn't give him a time penalty because he DNF'd in the race anyway. So it's an unusual one, and it sees Larsson out of the semi-finals. We're in Barcelona. This is what a beautiful city it is.
Below the mountains and close to the sea, I found Barcelona, a place to be free. We lay on the beach waiting for the sunrise. I found Barcelona, a golden surprise. I found Barcelona, or maybe she found me.
Super 1600 semi-finals. First ones of the year coming up for you next. We've had more messages on Facebook and so on. Schuster, apparently, not Suster. Thank you very much. Elena, you're welcome. Extra-Base has sent me voice messages, but I can't. I can read the one message. Thanks, mate. So yeah, we're getting the messages in. Q2, what a mad one. Messages. Here we are. Okay. It's pronounced champion, not Marton. That's come in as well. Yeah, we'll see. Now, I have had some other messages come in as well, which are not able to be read out. But there you go. If you know who you are when you sent that message in, then you'll have an idea. Right, we've got standings and grids appearing right now in the commentary box for Super 1600. Marton with the top qualifier spot, having won Q2 and Q3. It was Belevsky who won Q1. We're going to get semi-final 1 underway in just a moment. I think we're good to go. Semi-final one for round one of the 2020 Super 1600 European Championship. Gergely Marton and Marius Bermingrid in a pair of Audis from Rolf Volland. Artur Igorov on row two with Jan Černý, Radoslav Rachowski and Josef Schuster at the back. Still trying with the names, thank you. Keep sending them in, we'll do our best. Okay. Proper scrap now, remember. 6 laps, top 3 go through, bottom 3 go home. Bermingrid maybe with a better start. Marton, though, seems to have found traction on the run to the first corner. Igorov has gone on the inside, and Igorov gets into the door there. Bit of contact again on the run up towards the gravel section. Just clips the tyres on the outside. How close was that? Marton with the whole shot over the first of the 2 crests, then up and over the jump. Wonderful shot. This is the cars coming through in a line behind. Dust now starting to affect the vision for the drivers behind, but yeah, good start, Marton.
Yeah, and exactly what he needed as well, wasn't it? Now he can get out and get in front. But who's that gone to the Joker? It's Černý.
Rachkovski, yeah, it's Rachkovski and Černý. Look at the damage.
Paper thin.
Yeah, Igorov with the contact. Was it Igorov who clipped the tyres on the left as well? Either way, yeah, super tight between, and that's, yeah, not ideal. Not ideal at all. Remember, radiators in the front on Super 1600.
Yeah. No intercooler, of course, no turbocharger, so you don't need the intercooler in the front, so you can keep the radiator there.
But what you do need is not to have your bonnet completely folded over the air intake across the front, which is what Igorov has got right now.
Although he does have a big hole beside it, which is going to be letting some air in, of course.
Yeah, should be okay, shouldn't he? Schuster coming through in the background. So Igorov has elected to joker and cover off Černý.
There's somebody out there with misfire.
Yeah, I think it's Schuster. Whoa! Ooh. Contact into the side of Schuster sideways. Igorov needs to watch out. Gives the position up. That's probably a good thing, because otherwise you get the strongly worded WhatsApp from the stewards. But yeah, there is a harsh misfire. They've been able to hear that for a couple of laps. I don't know if you guys can hear it at home or not.
It'll be
Rachkovski.
Rachkovski, yeah.
And at the bottom of the hill, again, oh, sideways and contact between them. Igorov running into Schuster. Yeah, it is. Rachkovski has just come past us, so a misfire, not going to make it through. Černý, look, is onto the back of Igorov. So Igorov is desperate to find a way past. Schuster goes joker this time, so Schuster's gone. And that means that Igorov is going to get up into the position he so craves, which is top 3. But with Černý right behind. Černý was a fair way off and now ends up super close behind.
Well, the bumper's fixed itself on the front of Igorov's car.
Back round the other way, quick tie wrap, as good as new.
Yeah.
Not right now, when it's back in the paddock. Marton leading from Bermingrid. The Audi looks fantastic, doesn't he?
Yeah. All of them, or 5 we've got, isn't it? 5 on the entry list.
Volland, of course, used to run the Skoda Fabias. So between these two, 4P3, Igorov and Černý. Černý is closer than he's been for the rest of this race. The Skoda Citigo, famous city of Barcelona. Is he going to pull some Barcelona driving moves? We saw some moves yesterday on the dual carriageway on the way in that rallycross drivers would have been proud of. But Černy's got to make this stick if he wants to make it through, and I think he's just far enough back from Igorov.
Igorov does keep making a few little mistakes, so I've seen a few off camera when I've been looking out the commentary window here, that he runs wider for a few various places, but
Marton has got 1 lap to go to joker on this. Down 4.3 was the gap. What is it now? Yeah, still 4.3. Should be enough, shouldn't it?
Yeah, he should be in the clear there, so just no mistakes from him now when he should be on booking his spot for the pole on the final. I shouldn't say that, though. I end up giving the commentator's
that's proper
curse.
Commentator's curse. He'll be on his roof before the end of the lap if you're not careful, mate. So around the long left-hander, Gergely Marton comes through safely in front of Marius Bermingrid. Those two qualified P1 and P2. And Artur Igorov behind is going to hold on from Jan Černý, it looks like. So Černý just not quite close enough. Igorov had that big battle with Schuster. Somehow, Raczkowski's car is still circulating with a harsh misfire, but down at the last corner, Gurgly Martin is coming through the left-hander to take the win and the pole in the final. Birmingham goes through in P2, and it will be Igorov who goes through in third. So Igorov, oh, another lap to go, my bad. Well, let's hope I'm right.
Yeah, we won't have to redo it all again now.
That's fine, don't worry. It's all good.
It's a cool-down lap.
I'm confident it's not going to happen, yeah. I'm confident it's not going to happen. Martin still in front of Birmingham. Gaps are pretty stable where they are. 1, 2, 3 for Volland Racing. Got to be happy with that. Certainly the car you want to be in, I think, other than Tuominen. I wonder if Tuominen can spoil it with the Twingo. Got to make it through to the final first of all. This time, Martin will go through. Birmingham will take P2, and Černý still isn't close enough on the proper final lap to take it. So it is a 1, 2, 3 for Volland Racing. All three of the Audis going through to the final in the order in which they qualified as well. Raczkowski does make it round to the flag. That's maybe promising for getting it fixed for tomorrow, but double header, remember, for all these guys. Confirmation of the result: Martin, Birmingham and Igorov go through. Černý, Schuster and Raczkowski are done for today, but they've got a whole another round tomorrow morning. Big move across at the back of the grid. That was Raczkowski, who at this point everything was going okay. There was the tiny little clip on the barrier on the outside. Igorov with the bumper completely folded round.
See all the pipes in there.
Yeah, not so protected. This was the move on Schuster. And
that move is under investigation. I believe it would be that move. Those two are under. Yeah, their contact is under investigation, so...
Thing is, they can't really... Well, they can penalise Igorov, and that would put Černý in, but it doesn't actually help Schuster. I will give Schuster one more point. We'll see. Semi-final 1 done. 1 to go, and then we're on to semi-finals later on today. It is 5 p.m. local time. Pretty late.
Might go sunbathe. Put some shorts on.
We could do, couldn't we, actually? We genuinely
I'm
could.
looking pretty white at the minute.
There's a whole grandstand up there, Dan. You can go and socially distance yourself in. Room for 30,000 or 1.
Can't wait to have my face mask tan line.
Yes, good shout. It's not a good look, is it? It's even worse than the sunglasses tan.
I might put sunnies on just to add to it.
Yeah, sunglasses and a cap, mate, and you won't have to worry about burning your head at all. You'll be fine. 2 Audis on the inside. You can see Belevsky on the front row. And on row 2 on the inside, Kunaizev. Elena, let me know. Are we getting it any better? Rasmus Tuominen on the front row in the Twingo. I've been impressed with Tuominen. It's a big step up to Super 1600, particularly against the drivers he's driving against. Yeah, similar car to the Clio he was in before. It was a front-wheel drive sequential box car. But to come up to this level and still be able to perform against the top drivers is impressive. Semi-final 2 for Super 1600, round 1 from Barcelona. Yuri Belevsky and Rasmus Tuominen on the front row. Marat Kunaizev and Joao Ribeiro on row 2. Jeremy Lambeck and Marcel Snoyers on row 3. Is Volland going to get 5 cars through to the final? And what on earth do you do about spotting? You're going to need all of your 5 mechanics. Well, it's 5 per car, aren't there? Maybe 4 actually for Super 16. I think it's less, but either way, Tuominen, decent start on the outside. Not going to be able to out-drag down towards turn 1. Belevsky on the inside. Tuominen runs out wide. Kunaizev trying to get alongside, but Tuominen will have the line for the right-hander. And that could actually see Kunaizev out on the loose gravel. Loses out. Drops a place back. Look how long it takes to get back online in a front-wheel drive car, Dan. Small, he had to go for it, but it's actually cost him.
Yeah, really cost him, hasn't it? It's the traction thing. He goes to the Joker lap now, so good move from him. He's dropped back to 4th, so he may as well go in there now. just needs to hope that he doesn't get held up by anybody. But yeah, so
Snoyers is the problem, I'm afraid, because you have to be honest and say not on the pace of the other drivers. And normally in the semi-finals, not a problem. But actually an early joker this weekend, when there's only 12 cars here, is a big risk.
Yeah, massive risk. He's already on the back of him. He's going to have to make a move on track.
I don't think it will take him long to make a move on track, to be fair. I think he's that much faster, but you know, it's not going to be on this next gravel section because you can't go around the outside. He's going to be hoping that Snoyers goes joker, but if he doesn't, I suspect it will be on the left-hander at the end of the straight. But he really does. So Kniazev at the back of the pack. You're seeing Ribeiro and Lambeck. But Snoyers, watch for Snoyers, and he goes joker, so Snoyers has released him.
It's like giving up, isn't it?
Well, it is really, isn't it? You know, you might as well have had a crack at holding on to the position. I know that's bad for Kniazev, but well.
Now what do you do if you're Ribeiro? Send him in, don't you, really?
What's it ahead? Yeah, you have to. I'd go immediately to try to cover off Kniazev behind, because otherwise, if Kniazev, if he edges you over the course of a couple of laps, which I think you'd expect him to do, so the gap back at the minute is 8.2 from Ribeiro. Is 5.2. Yeah, Ribeiro's got to go now, surely.
Yeah.
Come on, Ribeiro, make the sensible decision. Got to be joker. That's what we're saying. We're calling it. Goes joker. No, is it?
Yeah,
yes, it is. Yeah, Ribeiro, goes joker. Coming back round. Gets in front. Yes, Dan Root. See, Dan used to be a spotter as well.
Potentially got vacancies to spot next year.
No comment. Belevsky, Tuomen and Lambeck, your top three. Ribeiro at the minute, the first of the drivers who has jokered. Could Kniazev miss out? Qualified on row 2 on the inside. Ribeiro was outside him, so I mean they're only 8 qualifying position apart. Kniazev was 6th, yeah, Ribeiro was 8th, so he did beat Ribeiro nicely in quali.
Tuomen gone to the joker.
As this to cover off behind, Tuomen going to try and come round. Yep, nicely, still holds position. So Tuomen is safe as you like in P2. Likewise, Belevsky out front. Time for the previous semi was 5:20.7. 5:20.7 was the first semi. This is the race for P3. Wondering where Lambeck's going to come in. Is Lambeck going to drop behind?
You'd think he would, but then...
Well, if these two get caught in a scrap, though, you know, they could slow themselves down and actually it could go the way of Lambeck, couldn't it?
Yeah. What's the gap? 7.2 to 2.5.
It's borderline.
Yeah.
So Lambeck, who's going to joker from P3, is he going to go on this lap? Belevsky's gone. There's your fight. Has Lambeck gone or not?
No, stayed out.
Lambeck stayed out. So Lambeck's going for the last lap, and actually, look, Dan has gone up to 2.7. So they're on the radio now going, please, this is the lap of your life. Push like mad. At the minute, Ribeiro, we reckon by 0.7 of a second, so it's not as close as we think. Maybe in a supercar, but not in a Super 16. They're saying Ribeiro's got it. Computer says yes. You can see, can't you, the rut that's starting to form up there, where they're hooking inside the really compressed dirt onto the grass, just inside the tyre barrier. Belevsky and Tuomen are really in a bit of a class of their own in this one. Lambeck now,
down 2 seconds.
2 seconds. So Lambeck, I'm afraid, is gone. So Ribeiro should get P3 here. Lambeck goes joker. Ribeiro coming round with Kniazev right behind. Lambeck drops from 3rd to 5th. Snoyers is on a go slow as he comes past us at the commentary position. He's going to park the car. We're looking for the winners. Out front, it's Belevsky doing a fantastic job. There's your fight, though, for the last place. Contact as well between them. Super close over the line. Belevsky and Tuomen, and back to that fight on the run down to the hairpin. You can see them on the brakes. Oh, sideways on the brakes on the way in. Ribeiro just holds on. Kniazev, 4th place. But it is Ribeiro who goes through. Good drive. So not all of the Volon cars make it. Just Kniazev misses out. 4 Audis, a Skoda, and the Renault going through to the final. There's Snoyers. Not ideal. Yuri Belevsky wins from Tuominen and Ribeiro. Kniazev just misses out. Lambeck and Snoyers too. Well, there you go. That is your semi-finals done. I'm trying to see. You've got Marton, Birmingrud, Igorov, Belevsky, Tuominen and Ribeiro will be in the final later on today, which will be between the World RX semi-finals and final. Very much looking forward to bringing you the closing stages of round 7 of the World Rallycross Championship. We will leave you with Laura Winter, who's with Andreas Bakkerud.
Well, here we are in the paddock then after an eventful Q3. It's been a good day, and a very good day indeed, for P3 Andreas Bakkerud. How pleased are you? That's your best position so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely very, very stoked on this because, you know, all of a sudden my phone started popping again. You know, I got a phone call from Terje, Espen and Matt, some of my partners back home in Norway. They were so stoked. Please do that again, another 50 points. Sorry I couldn't deliver, but yeah, very, very happy that we scored my first victory, qualifying heat victory with Renault Megane. So absolutely very, very happy with the boys and the girls' work from the team. I think we have done a great development since Riga, and we are looking better now.
Not a victory just yet,
No.
but it may be.
Yeah.
Who knows what will happen? Thank you very much and best of luck for the semi-finals and indeed the finals as well. All to come. Do check your listings, check your territories, and they will be with you this afternoon from 4 p.m. here in Barcelona. We'll see you then.